These notes should be continued right after your Charles Laws notes that you already have. If you don't have those notes, you should go back to last week on class pages and watch the video to take those notes first. The big question for this set of notes is, how does thermal energy transfer between objects? That should go at the top of your paper. This is kind of like a big title. One of the first concepts is this idea of heating. If I think about this cup of hot cocoa that I have here, the liquid inside of it is warm. To show that it's warm, I'm just going to put a few wavy lines. So this cup of hot cocoa can warm your hands if you're holding it on a cold day. I'm sure you've all had a cup of hot cocoa, maybe some tea, and as you're holding that cup, it warms your hand. On a cold day, after you've come in from being outside, hopefully not shoveling, having some hot cocoa to warm you up is pretty nice. So that brings up another question. What is heat? What is heat? Don't forget, you can pause this video anytime you want if you need more time to write down anything or draw any of the pictures. Your workbook defines heat as a transfer of thermal energy from a region of high temperature to a region of low temperature. We just finished up the virtual lab with insulation, and then in the notes section of that pre-lab we had pictures of two houses, one that was warm inside and cold outside, and the other house was the same, except that the temperatures were a little different. So the first house again was warm on the inside and cold on the outside. The second house was warm outside and cold or cool on the inside. I'm going to put cool. Think of it as like if you had the AC running on a summer day. So when this is, what is heat? Transfer of thermal energy from a region of high temp to a region of low temp. In these two house scenarios, the high temp is where it's warm. So the heat here is going to go out of the house, going from a region of warm temp to a region of low temp. And then the opposite is true for the other house. That heat is going to go in. So when we talk about heat, we also have to think about something called systems. Understanding systems can help us understand how objects and materials interact. A system is the materials involved in heat transfer. So whatever actually is involved in the process of transferring the heat is part of the system. If we continue with the hot cocoa example, we're going to list all the parts of the system. So the parts of the system are your hands, the mug, the hot liquid, and whatever's in the liquid, as well as the surrounding air. So all of those things equal this open system. It's called an open system because it's open to the environment. When scientists study heat transfer, they try to work in a closed system. In a closed system, it's not influenced by the environment, and we know that that's not really realistic because in real life everything is influenced by its surroundings. So we say that when scientists study heat in a closed system, this is theoretical. You might remember that concept from math class, but anything in a closed system, since it is not exactly like what we would experience in our daily life, is considered theoretical. So at this point, we've wrapped up the notes. So if you need to fill anything else in, you can go back. Otherwise, you can stop the video and go on to your next assignment.